It's Matt Slick Live. Matt is the founder and president of the Christian Apologetics Research Ministry, found online at CARM.org. When you have questions about Bible doctrines, turn to Matt Slick Live for answers. Taking your calls and responding to your questions at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. It's me, Matt Slick, and you're listening to Matt Slick Live. I don't know what's going to happen when Charlie gets on and he does a show. Hey, welcome everybody. You're listening to Matt Slick Live, and he's Charlie's spine. We used to go do stuff together. Slick and Spine, we called ourselves. It was great. All right. Hey, boy, what a day. And if you want to give me a call, all you got to do is dial 877-207-2276, and we can talk. If you want, you can email me a question or a comment, and just do that at info@carm.org, and I'll often get to those on the air, and we can talk about that as well. So there you go. All right. Having said all of that, let's see. I think we got a caller coming. We're supposed to have somebody calling in from Japan and talking about a Japan Christian tour. Believe it or not, and he'll tell us some more if that's him. Christianity was taking over in Japan. It was growing by leaps and bounds, and then all the Christians were killed by Japanese. And so we'll talk about that. And there's Christians now. There's like 1 or 2%, I think, are in the population or something like that. So we will see. The second guy. Well, we'll find out when the guy from Japan calls in. Let's just get on the air. Let's get to, I guess, Calvin from North Carolina. Calvin, welcome. You're on the air. Calvin, I hit the button. I'm waiting for you. I don't hear anything. Calvin, let's see. Maybe we're having a phone problem. I'm going to jump over, put him on hold, and jump over to the other caller, Tony from North Carolina. Tony, can you hear me? Well, that's good. We're having phone problems. It looks like I can't get a hold of either one. So I know that the guys are listening, the producers. So, Calvin, can you hear me? Nope. I guess not. Don't know what's going on. And that's just what it is. So if you have a question or comment, you can email me at there we go. You can email me at info@carm.org, and I can get to that. Let's see. What happened to John is one of the questions. What happened to John? John the Apostle or John the Baptist? It looks like John the Apostle he died on Patmos. That's what tradition says, that he went there and suffered there. So we think that's what happened. I don't know if that's what he's talking about, but there's that. So, hey, okay. And I'm not sure what the question is, but that's just some of the stuff there. All right. I'm going to try this. I'm going to try, let's try a different line with Tony. Hey, Tony, are you there? Hello? Man, we're having phone problems. Excuse me. Nope. All right. Tony, can you hear me? Tony. Well, that's good. Oh, there we go. I heard you. Are you there?
Okay, how's it going?
It's going. It's going. So glad you're on. So what do you got, man? What's up?
It's good to be on.
Hey, well, thanks.
Matt, I was always wondering.
Yeah.
What happened to Joseph in the Bible?
Nothing. We don't know. Oh, excuse me. I got a yawn coming up. Man, sorry about that. It looks like he died before. He just died sometime. We don't know exactly when. And we just have to say that. We assume he did. He's not mentioned in the Gospels after a certain period of time, but Mary is. And so they just assume that he died. That's it.
Oh, okay. I always puzzled me, man.
Yeah. No, that's all. So that's the general consensus, is he passed away. And it makes sense because often what happened would be that young girls would marry older men back then because they could be taken care of, have children, and it's just how it was culturally. So it would make sense to say that he was maybe 20 years older even, and they got married, and then later he passed away. That's one of the theories that is stated. We don't know for sure. So if that can happen that way, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But that's one of the theories. Okay.
Okay, Matt. Thank you so much. God bless you and yours.
Hey, man. God bless you. All right, Tony. Thanks for calling, man. All right. Let's try it again. Oh, gosh. Okay, there we go. Let's try Calvin again from North Carolina. Calvin. Oh, there's Stacy. Oh, well, hold on. We got Stacy from Japan. We're going to get on to Stacy. Let's see. Hey, Stacy, are you there?
I'm here. How are you?
Tired, man. Worn out. Man, how are you? What time is it over there in Japan?
Well, it is 8 in the morning.
All right. Well, that's good. You just start your day. So let me introduce you. This is Stacy. He's a guy I've known now for, I don't know, a few months, and he helps out on Clubhouse when I do discussions and things like that. And he's going to introduce himself, but we're arranging a tour to Japan, and that's why you're calling. We can talk about that. We have the information up on CARM and everything. Stacy, welcome.
Thank you, Matt. Great to be here. Appreciate the weekly discussions we have on Clubhouse. Hope people can join us there.
Yeah, hope so.
I know you have the link on your CARM website.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we do. All they got to do is go to the CARM homepage, and there it is. Yeah.
Yeah, we can build off of that. We often have that meeting just after this radio show on Wednesday evenings, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right.
So to talk about Japan, so there's so much to discuss. I did send you an article. Hopefully people can do their own research and find out how things have been for Christians in Japan. It's really been a tough struggle, a tough haul for Christians here. And it's really, missionaries find it one of the hardest places to do witnessing and evangelism. There's just a kind of a resistance, almost a spiritual great wall between the Japanese people and the gospel. But a lot of this can go back to its history in the 16th century, when the time of the shogun, when Japan was really coming out of a civil war period called the Sengoku Jidai. And the Spanish and the Portuguese and then the Spanish arrived to find all this division going on. But there were warlords that were rising to the front. One of them was called a shogun called Hideyoshi. And eventually he questioned the loyalty of the Christians there and as having been useful. In fact, they might be subversive to overthrow Japan, much how they did in Mexico and South America and Peru amongst the Incas and the Aztecs. And so the warlords were alarmed. Thought, we've got to expel every Christian and we've got to force the reversion of about 300,000 Christians, which is about 15% of the population in just short order. Christianity was spreading. But it led to the crucifixion in around the 1600 of about 26 Christians who became martyrs. But then they said, well, this is only multiplying the Christians. Right? We know the Tertullian's comment, right? The blood is the seed of the church. So they thought, well, how about this then? We're not going to allow you to be martyrs, but we're going to make you watch the murder of men, women, and children whom you say you love, but all you have to do to stop their suffering is to deny Christ your Lord. And then the sufferings will stop. So they created this really deconstruction of the faith. And it really led to the near eradication of Christianity, although for centuries, there's been hidden Christians in Japan, and the Kakure Krishitan, and they have survived to this day. They came out finally when the persecution stopped, and now Japan is, of course, had an edict of toleration for almost 200 years, but there's been social ostracism that comes with becoming a Christian today that's really is tantamount to a different type of persecution and suffering, but it's basically resulted in few converts to Christianity, and it can be a little bit complex, and there's a lot of speculation as to why that continues. But yeah, we really are looking forward to having you, hosting you. There is a thirst for good Bible teaching amongst Christians here in Japan. There's just not enough ministers, not enough pastors, not enough preachers, not enough evangelists coming to Japan. And it's because evangelists get over here and they don't see big numbers of conversions. And when they report back, to the home offices of the sending missions, they don't see the numbers and they just think, oh well, missionary must be a failure. I don't know if you have thoughts or questions or comments about that, and especially in light of God's election and grace in this.
Right. We're doing this tour, and so we have information up on the CARM website, so if anybody's interested, because I'll be going over there, Lord willing, so far. And then you're going to be leading us because you speak Japanese. And tell us about Renzo also. Well, first of all, tell us about, how long you've been in Japan and why you're there and what you do there, and, how you work with mysteries and stuff.
Well, I have a lot of reasons to be here in Japan. The biggest one would be my wife. and she's a Japanese national, and I've been here for about 10 years now, and 8 years consecutive running. First came to Japan in 1988 as a student, and was really impressed with the culture and just the overall people of Japan. They're just such a patient, kind, and polite people, as they're well known to be. And yet, when you're a Christian, you're perplexed because you look back to other Christian cultures you've been to, and you scratch your head and you think, wait a minute, how is it that these unbelievers seem to be exhibiting more of the fruit of the Spirit than even believers? And so I've always been perplexed by that and tried to understand the Japanese, and thought that if they only knew Jesus, how much even greater, because then their outward demeanor would match up with an inward demeanor that we receive in Christ. And so I've had a heart for the Japanese people since I was 19, which goes back to 1988 now. And so I've been coming and going for 30 years, business, and I have many friends throughout the country. I've been involved in churches and evangelists who first came here with the Billy Graham Crusades, and have some international churches here, so I'm involved with them. And yet I've raised my two kids in the States, and that's been beneficial. They're still in California, where I'm from. And but yeah, we have lots of opportunities here to preach the gospel. The Japanese people are relatively open to hearing the gospel and even attending church, but where the rubber hits the road and where they put up the stop sign is baptism. That's where usually all the red flags go off for them, and the growth and understanding of Christ stops. Now, Renzo, who you brought up, Sean, he's also married to a Japanese woman. He's a professional musician who happens to have adopted the traditional Japanese flute as his primary instrument of choice, and he's become world renowned and a world class, a top 3 shakuhachi player, which is a Japanese bamboo flute. And it's a difficult instrument to play because there isn't a typical mouthpiece as you would find like on an easier to play flute from the West. But it's just a really great instrument, and Sean's just a really neat guy, and you've known him from Clubhouse as well. He also goes by Renzo on Clubhouse. So he does public performances, but he also has a large cadre of private students. And, we look forward to having you hear him give a performance on the tour. Mm-hmm. And as well as we can also have some other experiences that'll be unique, traditional experiences with kimono and also koto and other traditional art forms that we hope to introduce the group to, and also just take tours of the imperial cities of Kyoto, Nara, and Osaka, which is Western Japan. And then we seek to do that trip to Nagasaki where those Christians were martyred. There's a hill and a church that's been memorialized there. And it's documented in the film Silence. I'm not sure if you've read the book or seen the movie by Martin Scorsese, but the book was written by Shusaku Endo, a Japanese Christian who was a very well-known novelist here and acclaimed writer. He should have won the Pulitzer with that book, in my estimation. It's one of my all-time favorite novels. But
so we're going to be visiting various Christian locations, some history, because I know you know a lot of history there. You speak the language. Renzo does too. And we're going to be gone for 10 days, going through Japan and seeing stuff, eating visiting a zoo, aquarium, going to a couple churches and things like that. I'll be doing a little bit of teaching. That's what I understand, right? Isn't that it?
Yeah, that's it. That's the plan. And it's a 10-day, as you said, a 10-day itinerary where we'll touch and go to their greatest historic World Heritage landmarks. United Nations has designated over 30 World Heritage sites in Japan. They have buildings and temples here that are much older than the United States or any artifacts we have from the United States. They have wooden structures that we'll be visiting that are over 1,000 years old.
Wow.
Great halls and structures of just amazing architecture. What's interesting about that is America had mercy on Japan during World War II because we were air bombing all of the major cities and just leveling them, including Tokyo, was just leveled to rubble. And yet Kyoto, which has all of these massive buildings and monuments, over 1,500 temples, many of them, as I said, over 1,000 years old. But historians and the generals got together amongst the Allied forces and said, no, we're going to leave Kyoto alone. It's kind of a last resort. We really should leave that alone because we could just engender a lot of hatred. We would just decimate the culture,
right.
Were we to wipe out and firebomb Kyoto. So we'll be visiting sort of the
we got a break.
Streets of Kyoto.
Can you hold on there? Because
yeah,
we didn't get the music there for the break, but we're on a break. So hold on, buddy. We'll be right back. Or just stay tuned. Just listen and we'll continue.
And see all the dandelions and crabgrass. Why don't you focus your attention on your wife and her God-given beauty? I'm Dennis Rainey.
It's Matt Slick Live, taking your calls at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
All right, buddy. Welcome back to the show. So we didn't even know we were on break. Are you there, Stacy?
I'm here.
All right. So there's a little bit of a glitch, and I could just see one of the guys in the station just, rubbing his forehead. So I didn't hear the outro music. So we probably, last 2 minutes, let's repeat it. Okay. So we're going to be seeing some of the places where you said Kyoto, which I thought was interesting. I didn't know that during World War II, America decided not to firebomb Kyoto because of its rich history. And what was the reason for that?
That's right. Well, I think politically and strategically, not just militarily, there were a lot of factors. Mainly, it wasn't as prime of a military target like Osaka and Tokyo because of the lack of munition factories and things like that. But also, it would have been seen as sort of like bombing Hanover, Germany. You're bombing the cultural heart of a country. And really, what you're doing is you're taking down their places of worship and museums and artifacts and things that would have simply been, unable to recover or replicate. And the world, in a sense, would have lost a bit of cultural heritage there.
Right.
So, and as I said, there's these buildings there that just the architecture alone is just breathtaking. We plan to visit cities in Nara as well, where they have these outstanding national museums and architecture. But then when you go to the religion, of course, which is tied there, is sort of the capital of Buddhism. And it really would have been kind of like bombing Mecca. So it would be the way to look at it.
All right.
It would have been incendiary and a hard thing for Japan to forgive, in other words.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, we're going to be going there and some other places. I've never been there. My daughter speaks Japanese. She loves Japan. And believe it or not, our accountant likes Japan. He goes back once or twice a year. And I think he's like 6'6". And he's like 300 pounds of 6'6". And he says when he walks, people stare at him because he's just huge. And so he tells me stories, and he loves Japan. And my martial arts instructor was there for years too. But anyway, I'm sorry, what would you say?
No, I was saying I'm sure he bumps his head a lot.
Yeah, it's true. And it'll be fun going there. So I'm looking forward to it. So we're talking about going in, I think it was late April. The last day of March is where we're going to start. That's when it's scheduled to go. if we get enough people to go and we have a tour, and it should be okay. And, I am looking forward to being able to speak in some churches or, with people and encourage them what little I could. But, it'll be nice. It'll be nice to be able to get there and see the people. I've heard a lot of good things about Japan.
Yeah, it's a great place to live, and you're certainly not without a lot of the creature comforts that we're used to in the West. And it's not like living in a third world country where you're witnessing to the gospel, but the conversion and the Christian faith status is just as low, if not lower, than most countries. We're really hovering around 1% of the population with a declared profession of Christianity. That's roughly half of those being Roman Catholic. So
not good.
It's the harvest. The harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few.
Wow. Well, I have an idea. Do they have a blimp over there? Because maybe you could hijack the blimp and put tracks out in Japanese over their major sporting events. Not that it's my idea. Maybe you could take credit for that one. But, I'm just thinking, just offering ideas. Don't know if that's good or not. Maybe they wouldn't like it.
Yeah, well, I think we did things like that during World War II. Rain tracks from above. But it's it could be tried again. Perhaps today we better rent billboards down in Shinjuku and put up 3D advertising.
Oh, why not? My idea, I'm joking around there, but if I had the money, it would be like, just get built, whatever you think would work, billboards, hire people to go and do radio things, and just try and get as many people as possible to hear that gospel message. That's what I would hope.
Whatever means necessary.
That's right.
There was a friend of mine here who was friends with a professional baseball player, and an American, and he decided to, toward the end of his career, sign up and play for an American team Japanese team over here. And the American guy was, of course, a believer, and he had a little bit of celebrity, and they parlayed and leveraged that celebrity to preach the gospel and attract people and invite people to church and Bible study. And it's resulted in 3 different churches that are probably one of the larger English-speaking international churches around in Japan. Now, Japanese like going to international churches because it's an opportunity for them to practice their English for free and meet foreigners, make foreign friends. And so English still is an open door for the gospel to introduce into Japanese people's lives, even if you are not that proficient in Japanese. It's best, of course, to learn Japanese to be able to truly engage the culture. But the English speaking is really a great entrance and a great opportunity for many people to hear the gospel for the first time.
Well, good. Sounds good. Yeah.
So
how could people how do people check up on this? I mean, we've got a link on CARM, and everything that they need is there, right? In that thing we developed.
Yeah.
That article.
It is. And so please go to the CARM website. It's I think a 2-page flyer that you help parse down there.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some images and some links there, and they can do some background information. They can see pictures of the accommodations and the sites we plan to visit, some of the temples, some of the parks, some of the gardens, as you mentioned. There's a world-class aquarium that's comparable to the one that I've been to in Monterey several times. Used to be a member of. And so and near that is the harbor, and there's a harbor waterfront that's really fun that we're going to see. So there's going to be a lot of recreational sightseeing as a part of this tour. I would say probably the majority of it. Of course, we're going to have fun with you too, because we're going to hammer on you, Matt, with as many questions we can pepper you with.
Yeah, that's fun.
So that'll be recreational. And then we're going to really look forward to those times of fellowship, really, over the word and over just spending time together. And like you said, the dining experiences are just second to none. Osaka, where I live, is really called the kitchen of Japan. It's really, and even Tokyo, I have to admit and bow to Osaka on this one. Osaka has a lot of original fusion type dishes, a lot of grilled food, a lot of unique dishes. Like there's this one that's a vegetable pancake with barbecue sauce on it. And you can put whatever type of meat you want in there, whether it's bacon or squid or hamburger. and it's mixed with cabbage, and it turns out to be like a giant cabbage pancake with meat in it. That's just amazing. I never thought I'd, like something like that. It's one of my favorite dishes now.
Well, you never know. You never know. We'll check it out. We'll check a lot of stuff out. I've been to different countries and enjoyed the food. There's only one food I refused to eat, and that was balut in the Philippines. And it was a semi-cooked, semi-mature egg of a chicken or something like that. I'm like, nope, not
Baby
doing
duck.
that. That's right. Well, hey, brother, there's the break. We can move on. Thanks for calling in, man. And we'll be pushing that tour, okay? So God bless, buddy.
All right.
All right. Thanks a lot, Stacey. Okay. Hey, folks, for open lines, if you want to give me a call, 877-207-2276. We'll be right back.
Everybody has a smile story, those daily moments of joy that make you smile, especially when you're a child like 3-year-old Zena. Her smile is as bright as her future. But there's something you wouldn't know about Zena. She was born with a cleft lip, which can make it hard to eat, talk, hear, and even breathe. And she's far from alone. A baby is born with a cleft every 3 minutes. This hurdle could have kept Zena from living her full smile story. Thankfully, she met Smile Train. Since 1999, Smile Train has helped millions of children like Zena find their forever smiles by empowering medical professionals around the world to provide cleft care in their own communities at no cost to families. Smile Train is working tirelessly to give every child with a cleft the opportunity to live their full smile story. Learn how you can help more kids like Zena at smiletrain.org/learn.
Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out. But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, that frog will boil. As a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans, it's a story that rings true. We learn to endure the heat in silence. We apply what we learn to life, the bills, the job, the family, things we're expected to handle with ease. When life heats up around us, we just try to stay afloat. We let the water boil. Reaching out isn't easy, but you've never been interested in easy. You join because you are not afraid of hard work. You are not a frog. If you or a veteran you know needs support, don't wait until the water boils. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach. Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Some kids never smile. They're embarrassed by their crooked teeth. They want braces like the other kids, but their families can't afford them. Some may even try to straighten their teeth themselves. That can make everything worse. Luckily, there's Donated Orthodontic Services, a program from the American Association of Orthodontists. It helps provide orthodontic treatment to kids and teens whose families can't afford it. For kids who apply, are approved, and are matched with a volunteer orthodontist, it can be life-changing. Their treatment is in the hands of an expert, a licensed local orthodontic specialist who improves their smiles by correctly aligning teeth and jaws. Some kids think they'll never smile again, but Donated Orthodontic Services may help them smile with confidence. To link to the application and eligibility requirements, visit
It's Matt Slick Live, taking your calls at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the show. If you want to give me a call, all you have to do is dial 877-207-2276. And I'd love to hear from you. And also you can email me if you want at info@carm.org, info@carm.org. And we can... you give me an email, I can read it on the air, get a question or comment, and go on the air that way. Let's see if we can get to Calvin from North Carolina. Calvin, welcome. You're on the air.
Hi, Matt. Do you hear me now?
Yes, now I hear you. Sounds good, buddy.
Beautiful. Okay.
Sure.
So, Matt, reading from something that I'm sharing with you, or sharing with the people that's listening. Reading from
Wait. You're calling up, and now you're going to share with everybody that's my show. I don't even know who you are. So, you have a question? What's going on?
No, actually, I'm just want to share something with you. Would
Okay.
that be okay?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, so reading from Revelation 2, verse 12.
Okay.
It says to the angel of the assembly in Pergamum, write, he who was the sharp two-edged sword says these things. I know your works and where you dwell, where Satan's throne is. You hold firmly to my name and didn't deny my faith in the days of Antipas, my witness, my faithful one, who was killed among you where Satan dwelled. Now, the interesting thing about it is that
No. Hold on. Let me ask, what church do you go to? Just I want to find out make sure you're okay.
No. Any church. I go to.
Okay. It just, warning bells all over the place. He's not answering a direct question. He says he wants to share with something else. He uses the word assembly instead of church. I listened to that. I'm starting to think he might be a Jehovah's Witness, but I don't know, and I said, so I'm just getting cautious and asked what church he goes to. And then any church, and so something's just not right. So I'm just not going to allow that. Maybe maybe he's a Trinitarian. I don't know, but I just still cautious. I want to guard the show and not have people just try and sneak something in. If I know what's going on, and I can work with it and things like that. But so there you go. All right. Hey, look, we have wide open lines. If you want to give me a call, 877-207-2276. All right. Let's see. Looking at some of the emails. Although the wine and bread served for communion are only symbolic of Jesus' blood and flesh, could the practice be considered pagan in origin? No, because Jesus instituted it. For example, in certain rites, one may also use symbolic food and drink as sacrament. How are the two different? Okay, Jesus is the one who instituted the communion supper, so therefore it's not pagan. Just that simple. All right, now let's check this out. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, the warning track. On the document that I sent, it's sort of correct the page number. In his way off, I found. Okay. Found the right numbering, wondering when you got time. If you could look at this one and explain it to me. I don't see it in here, but I'm sure it is just as don't understand it. Maybe, and people write me that they might want to consider rereading it and seeing if the sentence makes sense. I sent this to a friend who's been helping me, got us started, and I can't understand what this guy's doing. So, it doesn't make any sense. Let's see. He's a chaplain in the mobile church. Interesting. So I don't know what's going on. To check out that later when I get trying to figure it out and email him back and say, what's going on? I know this is redundant for those who have in the past opened my emails. Okay, here we go. But new folks are receiving this, and it should also be repeated. Francis, who's now 86 and not in the greatest health, according to the Book of Truth prophecies. Oh, boy. I love this kind of stuff. And just one run-on sentence. Francis, who is now 86 and not in the greatest health, according to the Book of Truth prophecies, is to live to see the second coming of Christ. Yeah. So see this web page. I'm clicking the link. I'm not going to tell you what it is. The information given in this message is why I say the second coming of Christ would be within Francis. This guy named Francis, his lifetime. As an important head up, Francis, who is identified as the false prophet, is to fake his death and be resurrected in likewise false manner. Should he truly die, then disregard anything. If he really dies, forget about this email. Man, it's killing me. So it's all this stuff. False death, false resurrection, faking this, faking that. But if he really dies, forget this email. Okay. Oh, man, that's awesome. Oh, I needed a good laugh. Sorry. I'm going to continue reading. Oh, man, I love this stuff. Sheesh. I can't help it. I'm cracking up. All right, I'm listen. I go on. All right. Oh man. Okay, you will notice. But you will notice. I will. Thank you. I didn't know I was going to notice it. You will notice that some message. Oh man, you will notice below that some message titles in bold type begin with they. In proper context, they would mean enemies of God. The message titles are not taken from the archive in sequential order. Okay. This is by no means an exhaustive list of important events to watch for. What? What? Grunt. Man, this guy writes it basically saying, but don't listen to what I'm saying. It's not important. But listen to this because it's important, but it's not really important. That's what he's telling me. Okay, sorry. The message titles are not taken from archive in sequential order. This by no means exhaustive list of important events to watch for. I advocate the reading of all the messages before making a personal decision on the authenticity or lack thereof. There's several Catholic priests receiving this email. I urge you to read the first message listed, which is highlighted below in the Book of Truth, blah, blah, blah. This thing, message can be, okay, let's see. No man, no priest, no bishop, no cardinal, no pope has authority to rewrite the word of God. That was in 2013. Someone got that. God the Father. The Antichrist is now ready to reveal himself. This is back in 2013. Let's see. Oh, hey, this is good. And this is 2013 also. It says, the first sign will be that the earth will spin faster. The second sign concerns the sun, which loom larger, brighter, and begin to spin. Oh, yeah. Oh, whoa. All right. Could you? So what's going to happen if the earth spins faster? That means the days get shorter, right? And can you imagine if it's a lot faster, like, man, I'm feeling lightheaded. Man, what's happening? Take a step and I go 15 feet. I don't know. And the sun's going to start spinning brighter and second. Okay. I will create miracles all over the world to prove to the skeptics that it is I, Jesus, oh my goodness, who has sent my prophet to prepare all of you for my second coming. Oh my goodness, this is easy. Oh boy. Let's see. When they change the sacrament of baptism, they will remove all promises to renounce Satan, for they will declare, obviously, this guy does not have all his paws in the litter box. That's for sure. He's scratching for the bottom, but he's not getting anywhere. Sorry. Oh man. Okay. I love this stuff. Okay, let me see if I can find some more stuff. His bearings aren't greased very well. Okay. Let's see. His suitcase is missing a couple handles. Let's see. They will ask me to pledge their allegiance through an oath to remain faithful to the church. The vaccination will be a poison and will be presented under a global health plan. Mother of salvation. Every single sacrament will be changed beyond recognition. Oh man. Roman Catholics will need to hold masses in refugees or churches of safety. The Antichrist will create grants to entire companies, organizations, as well as charities to work for his new One World Trade Center. And very soon, hell will be formally declared as a place which does not exist. Really? We're formally declaring it doesn't exist. Many will be strong enough to fight against abortion, euthanasia, and same-sex marriage. God the Father, quote, I, your beloved Father, have set a day of warning. At last, only I know this date. Oh, man. Oh, wow. I enjoyed that. Hold on a sec. I had to clear my nose because it's pretty ridiculous. All right, we got a break coming up here pretty quickly. I'm going to just delete that one. That was a good one. I was a little bit on the wacko side. I love hate mail, wacko mail on Fridays, and that fit right in there. And that was good. I enjoyed it. Hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Anyway, we'll be right back, folks. After these messages, please stay tuned.
what does the chicken say?
Chicken. Oh, okay.
And wolf?
Oh, a wolf. Ooh!
What about the tiny dog? Cat? Owl? Dolphin? What does the turkey say? Whale?
Whale sound.
Do the giraffe?
Giraffe, really? Okay. Giraffe.
You're not going to get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff, like making sure your kids are buckled correctly in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right.
Visit NHTSA.gov/the right seat.
Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
I spend a lot of time in the garage, but even more time in the rain and mud. 95 helped tow your moving trailer. And in 09, it was sparks from me, your chains, dragging behind your truck that accidentally started a wildfire. Spark a change, not a wildfire. Visit SmokeyBear.com. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit. Because the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And that is the voice of truth.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager, Learning the Lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Some kids never smile. They're embarrassed by their crooked teeth. They want braces like the other kids, but their families can't afford them. Some may even try to straighten their teeth themselves. That can make everything worse. Luckily, there's Donated Orthodontic Services, a program from the American Association of Orthodontists. It helps provide orthodontic treatment to kids and teens.
Matt Slick Live, taking your calls at 877-207-2276. Here's Matt Slick.
All right, but welcome back to the show. Just want to say thank you to Cigar Head for $5 donation there on Rumble, and also Silver Osaka, $10. Thanks. And he says, what's Matt's most entertaining heresy to refute? Entertaining heresy? Mormonism is pretty entertaining. I mean, God from another planet. That's entertaining for me, because I find it's so strange. God from another planet, it is goddess wife. They have physical relations, produce offspring, inhabit human bodies. Secret handshakes, become gods. That to me is like, wow, that's pretty good. But then also the Raelians, the Raelians are the cult that talks about aliens as being the progenitors of our life here on Earth, and that we're to bow to them and things like that. That's entertaining too. My favorite of all, so to speak, heresies are the Anunnaki, which is that there are aliens, reptilian aliens, interbreeding with Nazis in underground cities in the poles. And when they get enough population, then they could take over the planet. And that, that to me is like that. That's awesome. That's an awesome. This is a conspiracy theory, so that's entertaining. And you know what? Also entertaining is flat Earth stuff. Oh man, the flat Earthers. Oh yeah. They cannot think. They are so bad. I've talked to a lot of them, and it's so easy to refute their stuff, but they just refuse to believe facts and logic. So that's pretty entertaining, a little frustrating at the same time, but there you go. Let's get to Stacia from Washington. Stacia, welcome. You're on the air.
Hey, Matt.
Hey, how you doing?
Okay, I'm here.
Hey, are you all ready to go to Israel?
as ready as I'm going to be.
Okay. All right. Well, good. Looking forward to seeing you and others. So Stacia here used to come to our Bible
Yeah.
study here, then moved out to Washington, moved away a bit away. All right, Stacia. So what do you got?
My son who is an atheist, and I were talking about the great flood that happened, and he wanted to know what happened to the saltwater fish and or the freshwater fish, because they both can't live at the same time. So how does the Bible account for that? And I couldn't answer him.
Sure. What he's doing is assuming that this is how things always were back then. That's called uniformitarianism. And this is an assumption, and he can't make the assumption stick. Furthermore, there was probably one of the theories is Pangea, where all the continents were together. And you can see, you've looked on maps where the continents fit together like a puzzle. And so Noah's Ark could have happened at that time. And then when the animals were dispersed from the Ark, they went and spread out. And then we have speciation as the continents then split apart. Okay, the fish. So 98% of all species that have ever lived are now extinct. So we don't know to what extent the 98% that were around could or could not survive in a combination of salt and or fresh water. So the freshwater stuff, we could say that there were lots of I'm thinking of ways to put it. There could be freshwater areas that stayed fresh, even if salt water moved into them. There's ways that can happen with thermoclines and things like this. But at any rate, so let's just say that the freshwater washed out all over everything. And okay, fine. Then we could have fish that were there in those bodies of water on the land that became, over a period of time, fresh. I'm just thinking out loud, and that the fish gradually adapted to that. And then we see them now and go, see, they can't live together, but they could have derived from a common ancestor or common source. So there's different ways. Now, I think probably the best thing to go for that would be go to creation.org and ask on that, because that's a good question. And I have heard answers about it. And they say there's not any real problems because of genetics and speciation, subspeciation, and things like that. That could happen. What I thought was interesting is 98% of all species are extinct. So did the flood wipe a lot of them out, and only those who had the ability to survive in both salt and fresh water are the ones who survived? And then as the waters receded, the ones that were on the land, gradually as the rain fell on and purified the water and got rid of the salt water over a period of time, that the fish then could just adapted. So I don't know. In Lake Managua in Nicaragua, there are freshwater sharks. They're actually sharks, and they are in a lake, and they're sharks. And not many people know about that. So freshwater sharks in Managua. Answersingenesis.org, the flood. You can check that out too. There's some more information there. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So we'll be seeing you in LA in a couple, 3 weeks. All right.
Yeah.
All right. God bless, Stacia. All right. Now let's get on the air with Chris from Ohio. Chris, welcome. You're on the air.
Hey, thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I have a question. So I was an atheist. I'm not going to go into why. And 25 years ago, I married a Catholic, and I'm not sure why the priest let us get married, but he did. And I'm a literature major. Well, yeah, to get more people in the church, I understand that. But as a literature major, I started reading the Bible about 8 years ago, and realized it's not Chaucer and Shakespeare and Shelley. And I got more and more involved in the church, and I couldn't do the Catholic thing. For it just didn't work with what I was reading in the Bible.
Good for you.
So I started trying different churches, and I found myself in a fundamentalist Baptist church that all they do is study the Bible. And after almost a year and a half, I've never been baptized. I wasn't baptized, and I'm still going, and they've never pressured me to be, they've never even brought up baptizing me, and they know I'm not baptized. And they're such wonderful people, and I feel like I'm almost a fraud by going to the church. And I didn't know if, at what point do you, because I just can't figure out the Trinity, and I really feel bad that I feel like I'm wasting their time and being impolite to them by just showing up every Sunday.
Well, they're not
and
going to complain about that.
Sunday for Bible study.
That's okay. There's no problem for you to show up. So, would you have a question you want to address or something like that?
Is that? Am I wasting their time?
No.
Am I imposing?
No, you're not. No. Any Christians who would say that you are, no, they're not walking with the Lord that way. You could go and talk to them, and with patience and kindness, that's how they're supposed to treat you. So that's not a waste of time at all. Okay.
I just feel like I feel like an imposter. Like I'm here because they're so inclusive. And you know what? My wife actually she goes to her 9:30 Catholic mass, and then she shoots over and goes to their 10:30, and they all embrace her so well too. And I'm kind of lost because it's like there's just certain tenets that I can't grasp onto, but I'm studying and studying and studying and studying and studying, and it's just I just feel I'm not looking. I don't know. I guess I'm looking for a little validation that it's okay for me to do that.
I'm not sure what you're talking about there. To do what? But can I ask you some questions?
To show up.
Oh, to show up. That's okay. You can show up. There's no problem. Okay, let me ask you some questions. So, do you believe Jesus existed?
Yes.
Okay. Do you believe he died on that cross?
Yes.
And did he rise from the dead?
I can't. I don't know. There's no way I can know.
Okay. So you're a literature, major, whatever it is. So you know that there are historical events that are just literature. And you also know that there are ways to, so to speak, validate literary things written in history. Sometimes not, but sometimes there are, and stuff like that. But let me run something by you here. The book of Acts was written before the book of Luke. And actually, I got that reversed. The book of Luke was written before the book of Acts. Okay. If you read the first few verses of each.
Yeah, Dr. Luke.
Yes, that's right. So Luke wrote Luke, then he wrote Acts a few years later. Now, Acts does not contain the death of Peter and Paul, which historically occurred around 62 to 64 AD. These are just history facts, okay? The reason that's important is because that would imply then that the book of Acts, only got 3 minutes, so I'm going to go through it quickly. The book of Acts was written before they died because that's a super important event, both of them, and then not included in the history book of the church. So it makes sense to say it's written before. Well, he wrote Luke before he wrote that. So let's just say 5 years. I forgot something. If they died in 62 AD, 64 AD, Peter and Paul, and Acts was written before that, let's just say 60 AD. It was probably well earlier than that, but let's just say 60. And he wrote Luke before that. So let's just say 55 AD. And then Matthew was written before that. Let's say 50 AD. And I'm going through quick generic numbers, okay? And then Mark before that, and that's 45 AD. A lot of scholars believe that Paul wrote stuff even before the Gospels were penned. So we have early documents that were written very quickly and very early. And then another thing we could talk about, if you want to call Monday, we could talk about it more in depth. But the New Testament documents are incredibly well preserved from them to now. I could explain how the Greek...
And we think James was even before that, right?
You're right. You're very good. So the documents are very early, written by the eyewitnesses. And then they're very accurately transmitted from then to now. And they say Jesus rose from the dead. There's your evidence. And it may be different.
And there were 500 witnesses or more.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I'm studying that. I am. It's just like I just feel that I'm wasting their time or imposing on them, and that's where I'm coming from.
You're not. They are hopefully, if they're good people, they're hoping you come to Christ. And I'm seeing where you are, and I'm trying to help you that way. Because if Jesus rose from the dead, then everything he said is true, which means you need to trust in him. You've been reading the word, and there is reason to believe that those documents are accurate and reliable. And that means there's reason to believe he rose from the dead. And that's what you got to decide about. And then if and when, hopefully, by God's grace, you trust in him, your life will change. And those people in that church will rejoice. Okay? You there?
Thank you.
Yeah. And and you can call again, and you can call the office. We're about out of time here. I'm sorry, but we are. But you can call and leave a message and call the office at the bottom of the CARM website. And, want to have conversations. I can answer questions. I've been doing this for a long time. And maybe it can help you see and get at that place where you trust what he's done, because he did rise from the dead. And that's the best.
I needed your validation to, as an outsider, to know that they don't think that I'm disrespecting them because they're so gracious.
No, not at all. They're just loving on you. Okay? They're just showing the Christ. Look, I love you.
All right, man.
That's all it is, man. All right? Keep it up, buddy, okay? Call me back Monday. We're out of time. There's the music.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good weekend.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks for the validation.
Sure, no problem. All right, folks. Hey, there you go. Sorry, Chris from Texas and Calvin from North Carolina. We're out of time. May the Lord bless you. We'll talk to you on Monday, folks. Have a great weekend. All right, everybody. Whew. All right. A lot of noise going on in somebody's background.
Gotta be Charlie. He's the only other one.
Okay.
What? I don't even have my chihuahuas with me.
Sounds like water running or something.
Yeah, it's yeah.
Wow, that's not me. That is strange.
Mute yourself, Charlie. Let's see if it goes away. Mute yourself. Let's try you. No, Laura muted herself. Okay. Okay. Now I don't know which one it was because you both muted yourself. So Charlie, unmute yourself. Unmute.
There
you go.
I'm unmuted.
Yeah, I don't hear. All right. Okay. Now I have Laura unmute herself. Let's see if it was on her end.
I'm unmuted. I was muted and still hearing it. That's why I thought it was Charlie.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird. Oh, well, inexplicable. Who said that? It's inexplicable.
Is it gone now?
Yeah, it's gone. Who said that way?
Oh, okay.
I remember. Yeah. Charlie, if you put brighter lights on the green screen behind from different directions, as long as it's not showing on you, you have to fix it so the light bulb is only going on them, and you put a little film, like aluminum foil, around the light bulb so the light doesn't go directly on you. Then your green screen will work a lot better. It's inconceivable. That's what it was.
Yeah, I'm using the screen. I'm using the camera from the laptop. My other camera works perfect.
Perfect.
I don't
Okay.
even know where I put it now.
So who's Jan Jansson?
This one looks good.
Jan.
But I'm not using it right now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, those are good little cameras.
Yeah, but I'm not using it because I'm waiting for the other computer to come in. I'm not sure if I hooked it to this one, it would decide for me between the two which one to use.
All right.
It probably would. It's just got a USB plug in. Probably
Yeah.
plugged in.
Yeah. Well, okay. Excuse me.
Terry says inconceivable.
Yeah, Jan Janssen.
Isn't that's from Princess Bride, right?
Yeah.
But I thought someone else said inexplicable. Someone else did say it's inexplicable, but inconceivable was why. What was that guy's name in Princess Bride? Who said that? The bald guy. He was good too.
I can't think of his name. Dang it.
Vince. Yeah. You know, the girl who played the bride said that Princess Bride said that Andre the Giant, when they were out doing shoots, it would be cold. He would take his hand and put his hand on top of her head and warm her head with his entire hand. And she liked it. She goes, it kept me warm. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, somebody insulted him in a bar in his hometown. In his hometown in France, some guys insulted him and his friends at a bar, and he went outside and turned their car on its top. It was probably a Renault, but you know,
still,
that's what he did. Yeah. But he was a great guy personally. That was
that's what they say.
In his early days.
Yeah. All right.
You're gonna have to give me a little bit of instruction when you close down here.
Instruction on
what you want me to do when I'm sitting in for you, because I remember Luke couldn't simulcast to the timing. The delay was so bad that he couldn't do both. Yeah, StreamYard and the broadcast. So
you won't be able to StreamYard.
Okay. Yeah. Just okay.
Yeah. Well, so you could.
I'll pump out a couple of announcements.
No, the way to the only way to do it really from your perspective would be to have a camera on you and you just get StreamYard going, and they can only hear you because you won't be able to get that voice going in.
Right.
And you'd be on your phone. All right. That's enough. One that you got your hand on your phone, and so you could get something like this. And that goes Bluetooth into your phone, or something that's going to have a good sound quality. Sound is really important, of course, because it's radio, and that'll be that. So you may not be able to do the StreamYard, but it might be that maybe what could happen is maybe, for example, Laura could, is there a way she could watch the show, watch you, and then just get a feed. It would be 10 seconds later, and people could, watch that or listen to that, put the feed in. Yeah, there's something to think about, but I don't, because you have to have the ComRex machine here, and it's hooked up to the Mickey Mouse, but I got it to work. So, yeah.
Well, you do have a page on CARM that lists a lot of the radio stations, the terrestrial stations you're on. So I'll just promote that too, so they can go onto any of those terrestrial stations' websites and still listen to the broadcast.
Right. Yeah, because you don't have to be on here, but people could still be on here if you wanted. You could just start something and just don't have sound from, and they'll hear you talk, because you can set it up so that the microphone comes in from the webcam. And so that way they can hear. They can only hear you, but at least there's something, and then they could still have chat and fellowship. Makes sense?
Okay. If Laura wants to try that while I do the other, we'll figure out right away if it's because people they'll either stay or they'll bail out.
I missed it. I'm sorry. My daughter called me. She was stranded. What are we doing?
talking about how to arrange for video of this thing, because when I'm gone, you won't have the
Oh, yeah.
Comrex. You won't be able to do this stuff. So what you could do, Charlie could probably either put a camera on himself, or Laura could put a camera on herself. It doesn't matter. And then because people can still come in and chat, and then you could maybe if Laura did that, that might be better, because then Charlie doesn't have to worry about anything. And so if you were to do that with a camera on yourself or something like that, and then people were able to listen, you could take the show from one of the stations and
Yeah.
put a headset speaker next to it, and they could listen in, and they could comment, and it would just be that. So that'd be the way to get around it. Yeah, that'd be the good way to
I
go.
was thinking about that, Charlie. I was going to get with you when
Yeah.
it gets closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, the terrestrial stations have about a 10 to 20 second delay.
Right.
We've tried it before, and but yeah, I mean, we can do it.
Give it a shot.
If for some reason they want to see me.
No.
Hey Matt,
See
you
what
had,
happens.
you had a question pop up in the chat there.
Oh, I did? Where?
It's about 5 of
Okay, wait, hold on. Getting overloaded. The baby in the background. There's periodic high pitch.
I gotta go. I'm
Okay.
headed out. I gotta go rescue my daughter.
Okay, go rescue her. See ya. Okay. All right.
There you go.
Okay. So, why did Jesus ask his disciples in John 62, does this offend you? Because he wanted to know if it offended him, if it bothered him. John 6:62. What then if you see the Son of Man ascending where he was before? Does 61, does this cause you to stumble? The disciples, when they heard this is a difficult statement. This is about his blood and body and things like that, eating, drinking. He says, does this cause you to stumble? Well, then if you see the Son of Man ascending to where he was before, the Spirit who gives life. So he knows that they're being challenged by what he says, because he's implying that they should break Levitical law. And so that would cause him to have a problem, because he's not asking them to commit to do that. There's something deeper going on. And he's talking spiritually. So that's what's going on there. Never watched Westerns either.
Yeah, doesn't it say that? Doesn't it say that those guys that wanted to remain faithful to the Levitical law and found it so difficult? It says many of them turned away and walked away.
Yep. He has a way.
Yeah,
Jesus
I
has
mean,
a way
if you read on. Yeah.
Yeah. He has a way of using things to weed out those who are not the true listeners. Yeah.
Yeah, they were taking him literally when he in fact said, my words are spirit and truth. The flesh counts for nothing. They were taking a fleshly interpretation of what he was saying, a literal interpretation, almost wooden, and
Right.
saying, well, this doesn't jive with our Jewish behavior. We're gone. We're out of here, buddy.
That's right. Yeah, he often says things. I believe that God words things in the Bible a certain way so that those who don't have ears to hear will stumble over it and they condemn themselves. That's what I suspect. All right. I think I'm going to go and take care of the cats, check on Neek, grab something to eat. I'm going to relax. All right. I got to work later, but yeah. All right, you guys. So I am out of here. All right. We'll see you guys later. Hope you all have a great weekend.
Same
Okay,
to
we'll
you.
see you. Okay. Same to you and more of it. All right, we'll see you.